Now, Crazy sums up this next clip.
Mother, I hate this mother.
No, Sam, that's not how we do it. Let me show you how we take care of the creature. Let me show you how we take care of the creature. Go, Rita! Get up! Hit up! Hit up! Rita! That's how it's done. Yeah! Okay, calm down.
How clever to destroy your own property. Yeah, that's really going to show BB who's boss.
What's up, YouTube? Hope you guys are feeling good. My name is Ederu, and today I'm back to an amazing video and check out with you guys. This is called Lefties Losing It. The best of Kamala Harris supporters going mad. Guys, now goes to talk less and we react more. Let's check this out.
It's time for Lefties Losing It. Here is a lefty well and truly losing it, claiming that telling him you're voting for Donald Trump is among the most dehumanizing things you can do. The narcissism, the entitlement here is off the charts.
Oh, I'm not transphobic, but what exactly? You're about to tell me the most dehumanizing thing I've ever heard you believe about trans people? You're about to tell me you're voting for Trump? You're about to tell me that you don't think trans women should use the women's bathroom? If you need to put a disclaimer and that but, maybe keep that thought to yourself. Maybe let's try and think of another thought.
Fake nails until eyeshadow don't make you a woman. XX chromosomes do. I don't like the rules. Talking about entitled and narcissistic, check out this British lady having an almighty meltdown because a polite driver called her Miss. You see, she doesn't identify as Miss.
I'm telling you, it's a frigging problem.
And I'm saying to you, thank you, miss. And then all of a sudden you start to be angry.
Why would you say thank you, miss? I don't.
Because I'm trying to be polite.
But how do you know I identify as a miss? I might be a miss.
Identify?
I might be something else.
I don't know. I'm not asking for identification ID. I'm just saying thank you,
Well, I
miss.
think it was disrespectful.
How is it disrespectful?
Because you don't know me. I've literally just got in your cab.
Yeah, and you said nice
I've been
car,
in
and
the
then I say
car
thank you, miss.
5 minutes.
Okay.
And you
Okay.
call me miss when it's not your place, is it? You're not
not
family. You're not a friend.
But I'm trying to be polite, saying thank you, miss.
Well, I don't think that's polite. I think that's disrespectful.
Disrespectful to what?
To me.
How is it disrespectful for you?
How do you know I identify as anything?
What do you mean? Identify.
You know, like gender.
Gender.
Yeah.
What do you mean
I
by
might
gender?
be a they.
They, you know, you're that. You're
I
a
might
woman.
be.
You're a woman over here. I can see you're my eyes.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
So that makes it okay.
Okay for what? You give me complimenting,
So
and then
if I were to say to
I give you thanking.
If I would say to you, thank you, Mister, do you
Yes.
think that's all right? You
Of
don't
course.
think that sounds disrespectful?
Usually people.
How does
in
it sound
England,
disrespectful?
Using English, they say sir. So maybe you say sir. I don't know. Mister is okay, but maybe you don't have educations, or maybe you only say Mister. I don't know.
Okay.
That poor dude isn't paid enough to
He's
put up with
full-blown
that
confused.
craziness. It's so crazy that I'm suspecting it's some sort of a setup, but these people do actually exist. Now,
Oh my.
Crazy sums up this next clip.
Mother, I hate this mother.
No, Sam, that's not how
Eh?
we do it. Let me show you how we take care of the creature. Let me show you how we take care of the creature. Go, Rita! Get up! Hit up! Hit up! Rita! That's how it's done. Yeah! Okay, calm down.
How clever to destroy your own property. Yeah, that's really going to show BB who's boss. Now, you have to give Charlie Kirk credit
Hey.
here. Not only does he go to college campuses and seeks
That
to
was
have
hilarious.
dialogue with lefties, but he manages
Did-
to keep his cool
did he really?
and
Oh
his
my.
manners, even when the lefties are as obnoxious and odious as this next dude who asks him what drug he's going to overdose on if Trump loses.
When Kamala wins and when you go into manic spirals, everything you've worked for crumbles around you, what illicit drugs you can overdose on?
So if Trump wins, what are you going to do to yourself?
I don't know, probably move to the Netherlands. I don't want to deal with them. Can you answer the question, though? Snowflake?
I hope that
Answer the
Trump,
question, Snowflake.
I hope Trump wins. Kamala
Answer
might
the
win.
question,
Let me tell you what
coward,
happens.
coward.
So let me tell you what happens. if Kamala Harris wins, which she might, unlike you, I will not flee my country. I will go back to work the next day if Kamala Harris wins. And you might be right, Kamala might win. It might be too much, but I'll be able to look my daughter and my son in the eye and say I did everything I possibly could to make sure that this country remained free and prosperous for you guys, and that I gave it all on the line. But
Good luck with that, buddy. Come on, a sweep. Come on, a sweep.
See, this is what happens when you don't discipline your children. Imagine hiring
Exactly.
them one day.
Exactly.
Now to a young woman who doesn't need a job. She didn't even need school. She was too busy gallivanting around the world, telling presidents and prime ministers how to run their countries. And now Greta Thunberg is here to tell us why her anti-Israel crusade is linked to climate change.
In Palestine and all over the world, the fight against colonialism and corporations' destruction of the planet are intrinsically linked. Look at Chevron. Everyone knows that Chevron is one of the world's biggest climate criminals. But the oil giant is also fueling Israel's genocide in Palestine. As Israel bombs hospitals, homes, and schools in Gaza, Chevron supplies them with energy from 2 Israeli-claimed gas fields in the Mediterranean, making millions in the process. Ending Israel's genocide in Gaza and Israeli apartheid is a climate justice issue. Israel is destroying Palestinian lives, but also destroying Palestinian lands and resources through its warfare and industries that pollute and destroy the environment. We cannot stand by and do nothing.
Oh dear, just like her catastrophist global warming nonsense, just about every word she utters there is devoid of sense, facts. But remember, that didn't stop several world leaders from allowing that simpleton's activism and the climate cult to damage their energy security and with it, their economies and the prosperity of their people. And far from destroying the natural environment, Israel plants millions of trees every year. In fact, in 1948, they only had around 2% of the country covered in trees. Now that figure is around 8.5%. You'd think Greta and the Greenies would be happy about that. Now to a young lady who needs Jesus. Like, seriously.
I love killing babies. I love it.
Jesus will. We have to give her the word.
I've had like 45 abortions and I'm going to keep having them.
To Fox News
45
now,
abortions.
As a lefty, Patrick
Oh my God.
Murphy is trying to push Biden's inflation lies. But there's a fact check coming from host Harris Faulkner, and it's beautiful.
So wait a minute. What did you say inflation was when Biden took over?
I said inflation was up at high at 9%. It's now down to 3.2%.
No. When he took over from Trump, it was 1.4%.
Yeah, and there was also there was also
I want to
$8
make sure
trillion in debt,
Biden
though.
says it was at 9%, and I don't want you to get confused with his
debunked.
His false talking point.
Time to check in with the Veep and her many accents. This is urban Kamala from the block.
Brother, we are not going back. We are not going back. We are not going back. We will not go back.
This next
Go
one,
back
I
to
detect
where?
a Hispanic tone.
In fact, recently I was in Nevada. I'm in these streets, let me tell you, I'm everywhere. I love you back.
And let's take a trip down memory lane and have a look at the man who gave Kamala her big break, Willie Brown, who was 60 and the powerful Speaker of the California Assembly when he had a romantic relationship with 29-year-old Kamala and appointed her to 2 well-paid state board positions. And the rest, as they say, is history.
He's a rogue, all right, notorious for his flamboyant lifestyle. Flashy clothes, fancy parties, fine women,
Are you his daughter? No, I'm not.
and fast cars.
You should from now on address me as the mayor.
If ever a man and a municipality were made for each other, it is this man, this place.
And this next young lady still hasn't forgiven Kamala for that Willie Brown dalliance.
The left is trying to tout this woman as a savior for the black community, but all she's done is hurt the black community since she came into the game. See, the first step in destroying the black community is to dismantle the black family. So aside from her record as a prosecutor, Why don't we ask Mrs. Willie Brown if Kamala Harris cares about black families?
That went deep.
Now, if you're ever confused about what the America First agenda is all about, then have a listen to Donald Trump here. Give a warning to John Deere, manufacturer of agricultural machinery and heavy equipment. This is America First.
I just noticed behind me John Deere tractors. I know a lot about John Deere. I love the company. But as you know, they've announced a few days ago that they're going to move a lot of their manufacturing business to Mexico. I'm just notifying John Deere right now. If you do that, we're putting a 200% tariff on everything that you want to sell into the United States, so that if I win, John Deere is going to be paying a 200%.
Joining me now is documentary filmmaker and commentator Ami Horowitz. Ami, John Deere announced earlier this year that they would lay off hundreds of workers, I think around 600 odd, at three of their plants and shift production from those plants to Mexico by the end of 2026. What we saw there from Trump is precisely what he needs to go back to. That's America First.
Yeah, I don't agree with you on this one. This is, in my view, an example of neo-mercantilism, the idea that there is a static amount of wealth in the world and that all nation states are competing for it, and that all trade is zero sum. I don't believe that. It's not what capitalism and the free market is all about. We've had more modern examples of how tariffs and duties have hurt our country. For example, Smith-Hawley Tariff Act, which in fact, when it raised its tariffs and duties, it lengthened and deepened the Great Depression. These are not the way to proceed. Look, there are uses for tariffs. For example, how Trump used it in his first administration to punish and punitively against China, when China was doing things like dumping steel, tariffs on our products. That's a proper use for tariffs when you're trying to engage in a country who's attacking you. But to use it against an American country who's simply looking for a more efficient way to build their manufacturing facilities because we have an inefficient labor system and regulatory market is not the proper way to use tariffs. I'm sorry.
Well, I disagree wholeheartedly. I understand that the principles you talk about there, but in practice, we're talking about hundreds of well-paid American jobs, often in areas where there are not other jobs for those workers to go to. And as a leader, his number one priority should be the welfare of Americans. And if that means putting pressure on companies to have a little bit of loyalty to their home country, then so be it. You see other countries using tariffs to protect their industries extensively throughout Europe, Asia. I don't see why America should hamstring itself to have this free trade when other countries don't play by those rules. But we could debate this for a long time. Let's talk about Vice President Kamala Harris, because she is reportedly going to be back at the southern border, this time in Arizona. She is the border czar. She was telling us in 2022 the border is secure. Now she says it needs work, but it's all Donald Trump's fault.
Would you call the border secure?
The border is secure.
You're confident this border is secure?
We have a secure border.
After decades in law enforcement, I know the importance of safety and security, especially at our border. As president, I will bring back the bipartisan border security bill that he killed, and I will sign it into law.
Ami, this visit, I think, is going to be only the second time she's visited the border since she got that border czar role, or whatever she wants to call it nowadays. Is she going to be able to convince Americans that she cares about border security? She's just got a long history of advocating for all sorts of benefits for illegal immigrants, saying illegal immigration isn't a crime. There's a chant she was leading back in 2018 that's just gone viral, where she's saying down with deportations. It's clear where her values lie. Is she going to be able to convince Americans that she's serious about cutting the numbers coming across illegally?
No. I mean, this is what you call national gaslighting. Her trying to reframe herself as a border hawk. You have got to be kidding me. And nobody's believing it because she's down double digits on the immigration issue, the second biggest issue that Americans care about. Look, if she wanted to, in fact, be tough on the border, she had almost 4 years to do it under the Biden-Harris administration. She was, well, I don't want to use the word border czar, because I never used the word border czar. She was just in charge of the border, right? I don't know, what could she have done? Well, she could have tried to done a border deal before last year, or earlier this year. What else could she have done? She could have maybe implemented what Trump had done to stop illegal immigration into our country. For example, she could have simply done remain in Mexico, maybe the greatest tool we ever had to keep illegals out of our country. She could have continued to build the wall. She could have had increased deportations. Look, we have the receipts on you, Kamala. We don't have to guess at what your policies would be. We've had years of it, and we've had you talking about it. We've had 11.5 million people at least cross into our border illegally. We know you wanted to abolish ICE, and of course, we heard you chanting. We have a video of you chanting, "No more deportations," with, by the way, I'm so glad I'm able to pick up this name again, the great Jussie Smollett. Oh, I miss talking about him. I wish we could bring him back in the news. I think we just did.
You did. Don't ever miss a chance to mention Jussie. That was still one of the most extraordinary news events of the last decade. Now to Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. He's visited an ammunition manufacturing plant in Pennsylvania, which has been instrumental in supplying Ukraine with munitions. But it's his campaigning for the Harris-Walz team that is raising more than a few eyebrows, Army. How is this visit being viewed, and what's the commentary been like in the US?
I cannot believe this has not been covered more by the American media. That is truly, truly unbelievable. Look, what do we have here? We have a foreign leader who's being flown in by the administration to Pennsylvania, the most battlegroundy states of the battleground states, ostensibly to go tour a munitions facility. But guess what? He didn't have to go to Pennsylvania. This is so politically brazen, it's unbelievable. He didn't have to go to Pennsylvania. We supplied him with weapons built all across the United States. He could have gone to Ohio, South Carolina, Alabama. All these places are building weapons for Ukraine. But they sent him to Pennsylvania, and he should have said no. This is a tactical and strategic mistake for Ukraine, because he needs Republicans to vote for packages for Ukraine. We passed a package for aid to Ukraine because the Republican House passed it over. And by the way, Zelensky, Trump may become president, and the guy has a pretty thin skin when you hit him. This is a massive mistake, and I cannot believe it's not being more covered.
And you're a Ukraine supporter. You support their cause, you support the fight. And if you're questioning the judgment here of President Zelensky to participate in this sort of political campaigning for the Harris camp, I think that says plenty. And you're right, if Trump becomes president again, what does that mean? Is he going to remember this and hold it against President Zelensky when they next negotiate for a package? It just seems to be a ill thought out decision on his part. Now let's go to Springfield, Ohio, the town that Trump put on the map when he mentioned he alleged there were cats and dogs being eaten. The residents there are continuing to lift the lid on the impact of up to 20,000 immigrants from Haiti being deposited into their small town. Here's one young woman's viral post.
Driving through Springfield, Ohio, I am terrified to drive my car through Springfield, Ohio. It is a scary place to drive your car through. They do not know what lane to turn from. They do not know any traffic laws, so I know I'm not the only one. But I've been stalked through stores by Haitian men.
And Vivek Ramaswamy was in Springfield as well, and he heard from a father who explained that his son, who serves in the US Army in Germany, can't bring his wife and his newborn child to America unless he enlists for another 4 years.
He's married over there. He's going to be having a baby next month. For him to get the baby to come here to the United States and his wife, he has to do 4 more years. But the Haitians come over here and get everything.
So in order for, I missed that because
For them to get their visa, their plane ticket, he has to do 4 more years.
It's a fair question, Army. When you're seeing these immigrants from Haiti coming in, no questions asked, and then you've got someone
then
who's
soldier.
serving their country,
And you
he
can't give
bring
him his
own
benefits.
child unless he enlists for another
wrong.
4 years. You can
So
understand
wrong.
why so many in that community are upset for a variety of reasons.
Look, this is, again, another example of why immigration is one of the, again, I'll continue to say it because it's important and it's true. It's the second most important issue outside of the economy that we have in our country. And of course, it is a spectacular fail for the Harris-Biden administration. Also, look, again, I don't want to continue to beat a dead horse. It does also highlight the failure of Trump when he had to. There's no reason to create a false argument, such as the pets being eaten in Ohio, in Springfield, Ohio, when you have real problems in Springfield, Ohio, highlighted by that woman we just saw. Now, of course, the left keep trying to frame this as a race-based issue. Why are you attacking Springfield, Ohio, the Haitians? Because they're all black. But look, I don't know. I just saw that video. That woman, she kind of looked black to me. I'm not sure. I don't see race.
No, and I don't think it's a cultural issue. I heard
It's
an American,
straightforward.
black
Straight to the
African-American
point.
pastor talk about this, and he said this isn't a race issue. But I want to ask you about Macklemore. We discussed him on last night's show. He had this mad rant on stage, encouraging the crowd to chant F America, and also made various claims about Israel.
Yeah, America. October 7th happens and I start paying attention and I start
American
learning. It's a
rapper.
genocide. Absolutely. And it has been since 1948. Don't get it twisted.
He went on and on. You don't want to hear any more, Army, but he's joins a long list of celebrities, I've got to say, who have used their platforms to push this anti-Israeli agenda. We've had Susan Sarandon, an Oscar-winning actress, who said the October 7 rape claims were myths. And we had supermodel Bella Hadid, who's implied that Hamas treat their hostages better than Israel treats Palestinian detainees. There's a whole long list of celebs who've been very critical of Israel, to say the least. Even Jewish film directors have condemned Israel. Have a listen to Jonathan Glazer's acceptance speech at the Oscars and Sarah Freeland's speech at the Venice Film Festival.
Right now, we stand here as men who refute their Jewishness and the Holocaust being hijacked by an occupation which has led to conflict for so many innocent people.
I must note, I'm accepting this award on the 336th day of Israel's genocide in Gaza and 76th year of occupation.
Army, you expect the entertainment industry to be supportive of the only real democracy in the Middle East, but that's not evident these days.
Yeah, you'd be mistaken if you would think that, oh, you're so naive, Rita. Oh, little poor naive Rita. Look, Macklemore in particular, he went on, by the way, also to trash America, said how much he hates America. I don't know if you guys talked about it last night, but he had his concert a couple of years ago. He went on stage as a rabbi with a big hook-nosed Jew jumping around and singing about being cheap with his song, with his song Thrift Store. Is a very good song. No, he's a disgusting person, disgusting human being, and is exemplifying it here with that.
Yeah, and it was very odd because during that rant, he mentioned that he really got an interest in this issue post-October 7. So that, to me, is pretty shocking in itself, that that's when he decided to take a closer look and he came out condemning Israel, which was attacked on October 7. So I do not understand that at all.
Neither do
Army
I.
Horowitz, it's always a pleasure. Thank you so much for your time.
This was literally a lot. A whole lot. Okay. A few of the videos got my attention. Like, okay, the one that was basically hilarious in all ramifications was when the cab driver said, "Thank you, miss." What was she expecting him to say? Okay, probably maybe because from his intonation, he clearly is a foreigner, so he won't know about this gender identification alapalooza going on in the country. So he just went on with what he was saying, which is literally how the world was until now. And it was clear to see that she was evidently a woman, although she does have a point when she said, "What if I'm a Mrs., not a Miss?" You could have said, "Thank you, ma'am." But then, that's not even the context of argument. It was, "What if I'm a they?" I mean, it was just so funny. Back then, if you address a woman as a Miss and she's a Mrs., she just, corrects you and it all goes away. But she was just confusing leaving the light out of this poor guy. He sounded really stressed. Really, really stressed. This issue on immigration, you can see that in Ohio, this lady was complaining about how they're going against the traffic rules because basically they don't even know them. They don't know which side to drive on. She's being stalked by Haitian men every time. And then the main context of that argument was the fact that a man serving his country was basically not allowed to bring his wife and children over to the States unless he serves an extra 4 years. And then foreigners are in a part of a country giving the citizens trouble and no one is saying or doing absolutely anything about it. That's so baffling and wrong in every sense. Now, there was minor disagreement here on the tariff between Donald Trump and the John Deere's industry. Okay, I'm just going to say this. According to Ami, he was of the opinion that the tariff being imposed by Donald Trump would be wrong because, it's a free market economy, capitalism, and all that. I do agree. It's free market. The basis of capitalism, you explore and spread your tentacles. But if you do want to expand your business projects, then why do you have to cut production in that particular place and move it? Can't you just expand it? Because as you said, Donald Trump is doing the ideal thing a leader would do by putting his people first, because him cutting off those production sites is going to put over 600 Americans out of their jobs. That is not a smart move. And then basically, after producing those products in Mexico, the cost to bring them in, by the time all that is added, plus or minus, the goods are very expensive for the American citizens. I believe even if the tariff doesn't seem like the most graceful approach, something should be done to make sure that these people don't actually lose their source of livelihood. Then on this rapper, didn't even quite get his name though. You're a citizen of a country. I mean, no matter how pissed off you might be at that country, there are some things you don't say in the public eye. I mean, you can't be a citizen and still be cursing the name of your place of birth. That's wrong. And then basically on this Israeli-Palestine conflict, a lot of them are weighing in. It's heated. It's always heated. And there's a lot of comparison going on. I even see some Jews siding with the Palestine side. I mean, it's safe to say that no one really actually knows the depth of this quarrel. But whatever it is, the bloodshed and everything going on around those two countries is so not worth it. At all, it's so not worth it. Then basically, we saw a throwback video of Kamala Harris and the man who paved our way into the electoral or the political hemisphere. As the Sky News commentator said, the rest is now history. And they brought out a recent video of this young lady who clearly referred to that flashback scenario and asked Kamala if she knows the value of black family. This show just makes us understand that there's a lot going on in the world that we actually need to, look into. We need to see. And of course, set our priorities straight, because really, a lot of lefties are losing it. Anyway, guys, tell us what you think about this in the comment section. And please do remember to leave a comment and a thumbs up at the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching, and stay safe.